Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. My name is notiansans. This, of course, is Learn How to Edit Stuff, and today I'm giving you a template. So I'm working on a project right now where somebody sends an Instagram DM to somebody. So I recreated the whole Instagram message UI to build out this template, and I figured, why not just give it away? It's the holiday season. I'm a charitable guy, so you guys are getting this template today. Check it out. It is fully customizable with the text that you want to send. I'm going to show you guys the different ways to make it 3D, how to edit the text, and where to time up your layers so that it all just kind of works very smoothly. We're jumping straight into it. In the video description below, you will find a download link to the template. Go and download that template, then open the template in Adobe After Effects because we are getting started right now. All right, guys, I've got the template open in After Effects, and it is called Learn How to Edit Stuff Instagram Message Template. And when you first open it up, this is what you will see. If we scrub through this timeline, you see the little cursor there is turning on and off. Our text types in, hey, what are you up to? And then it sends, and our UI resets. So I've gone ahead and done all the UI animation of the Instagram message already, and it is in a giant blank comp. We will get to that later because we want to have a lot of room on the sides to kind of do our 3D stuff. But the only things that you guys are going to change here is this orange layer that says type your text here, your start and end points for when the message sends, and the placement of the cursor. So I will go through how to do all three of those things, plus making it 3D in this tutorial. But first, what I want you guys to do is change the text. So scroll all the way down here to the end. If you click U on the text layer, you'll see where the text is finished animating, which is this keyframe right here. So go past the ending animation so that we can type out what we want it to say. And instead of just saying, hey, what are you up to? We'll say, hey, what are you doing later? There you go. So I've gone ahead and changed that text. Now the next thing I'm going to do is animate the cursor position. So if we zoom in here and we go to our cursor, click on that orange layer right there, I'm going to set a position keyframe, Alt-P for me on the keyboard. It's Shift-Alt-P for you if you have your default After Effects keybind set, which if you see my other videos, set them to something easier. Mine's Alt-P, we're moving on. So my first position keyframe is set. I'm going to click Control and the right arrow on my keyboard, and then I'm going to hold down Shift and hit the right arrow on my keyboard just to go over to the outside of the letter, and then I'm going to hit Control a couple more times until my next letter comes in, hold down Shift, Control, hold down Shift, and basically what I'm doing is I'm frame by frame animating the cursor to just come right after the letter is typed. Now, yes, you can just add 2 keyframes and have it kind of go in between, but you're gonna be fiddling with it for a while and it's not gonna look as authentic, as cool as doing it frame by frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the frame by frame animation. You guys do the same, and then we'll follow up right after we're done. All right, guys, we've gone ahead and did all of our individual keyframe animation for the cursor, and let's play this back so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. It follows the text exactly how I want it to, and you're not gonna get that same exact precise positioning if you do just 2 keyframes on either side and animate the position in between. So we've made it look really nice. Hey, what are you doing later? And then once it gets to the end of our text, what I want you guys to do is just copy and paste these opacity keyframes of the cursor turning on and off. So I'm gonna copy those and just paste those right over here. So now the cursor will blink on and off again at the end. And then the next thing we're going to do is change when we want the message to be sent. So if you guys want the text to be on screen a little bit longer, what we'll do is just come over here. Let's have these keyframes of the opacity finish before we send our message. All we're gonna do is click on our text layer that we just typed out. We're gonna move the little marker over, and then we're gonna move the ending point straight to the marker. This red layer down here, the send end, we're just gonna click on the entire layer and move it over. And then same thing right down here, we're gonna move our marker and move our send time. So now after the completion of this text, the cursor blinks on and off, and then the message sends and everything resets back to normal. So pretty easy stuff. The only time consuming part is just animating that cursor to match the text that you just typed in. But overall, this is what we're dealing with now. The message types out, looks really nice. It kind of lingers here at the end for a second before sending, and everything resets. Our cursor is still here, so what we'll do is just delete this final opacity keyframe so that the cursor turns off and then it doesn't come back on again. All right, looking really good, guys. The next thing we're gonna do is come up here and create a new composition. I'm going to make it 1920 by 1080, 23976, 10 seconds long, advanced. We're doing 180 on the shutter, and we're classic 3D renderer in After Effects. Click OK, and it will start a new composition. Now what we're gonna do very simply is drag our master message composition straight down into this 1920 by 1080 composition, and we are going to make it 3D. Now, what can we do here? Well, very simply, I can scale this back just a little bit so it's fitting really nicely in my frame. And I'm gonna hit R on the keyboard for my rotation properties, and then I'm gonna rotate it on the Y axis, and we're gonna start to get this really cool 3D kind of typed out effect on our layer. And I'm just gonna adjust the scale and positioning of things and the rotation to get it to a place where I really like it, which let's say is right about there. Cool. Now what I'm gonna do at the very beginning of my layer is I'm going to set a position keyframe for all my rotation, my position, and my scale. I'm going to come down a little bit farther down here once my message is done being sent. Looking nice right about there. I'm gonna go about a second afterwards, and now I'm going to adjust these keyframes again. So over time, I want it to kind of rotate inward a little bit, just like that. And maybe we'll scale it in as well. And we'll just have it go down just slightly like that. So now check this out, guys. Over the course of time, it is kind of 3D perspective shifting on that Instagram message. Nice, that's looking really cool. And you guys can do a bunch of different stuff with this. If you don't want it to rotate on the Y-axis, we can start messing with the X-axis. So you're looking at it from the top down, you can be looking at it from the bottom up. We can kind of perspective shift however we want, but I typically find that the Y rotation kind of looks best for all of these scenarios. So now we're scaling in and rotating on the Y-axis as this message is being sent. The message gets sent, and then we continue the animation just for a little bit longer. Maybe we can even extend this just a little bit so that it makes the animation look overall more smooth. Now, Ian, what if I want this message to send and then appear in a bubble right above my message bar, just like it does in Instagram? Ha, great question, Ian. Let's answer that for you right now. Going back into our master message composition, what we're gonna do is come up here to our rounded rectangle tool, and we are going to just add a rounded rectangle straight into our composition just like this. And we are going to change the content properties of that rectangle path. We are going to make it 100% roundness on all of the sides, and we are going to change the fill to be a nice light gray color. Something like that looks nice. And we are going to delete the stroke. Then what we're gonna do is add a text layer straight into that. Basically, all I'm doing is retyping the text that we typed out in our message. I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit, stick it in this bubble right here. And now for ease of use, I'm going to pre-comp this whole thing together by hitting Shift-Control-C on my keyboard. I'm gonna name this Message 1. And now I'm gonna take this layer, line it up with the outside of our little half circle message bar here, put it right up here. And I'm just going to do a very quick animation right where it is being sent, where all of these markers are. So check this out. I'm gonna add a position and an opacity keyframe and go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keyframes. Add another opacity and position keyframe, move it up in the frame just slightly, right about there looks good. And on our first keyframe, on our opacity, we're gonna turn this down to 0. So now the message is being sent, and then it appears right above the message window, just like it does in Instagram. So now when I go back over to my composition that we were working with in 3D, it has now appeared, and I don't have to redo any 3D because I'm doing all of our 3D animation on the master composition. And you guys can speed up or slow down the typing text animation as much or as little as you want by coming down in here under the type your text here layer, and you can change the speed of the animation right here. But I would definitely recommend doing this first and getting comfortable with the speed of your text first before you animate the cursor, because then you'll have to go in and kind of reanimate the cursor, which is super annoying. But guys, you have edited your own text in this template, you have done your own 3D rendition of it, and now if you need a scene in anything that you're working on where somebody is sliding into those DMs, you now have a template that you can use to make it happen. Now that wasn't so hard, was it? I mean, we downloaded the template, we changed out the text, we added our own text message bubble or Instagram message bubble above the message bubble that was in. Okay, we did some cool stuff inside of the template and customizing the template, and that's what I want you guys to get out of this. On one hand, I am giving you a template, which is kind of like a cheat code, but on the other hand, what I'm giving you is an Instagram project that I've done some cool little animations in, and then you guys can deconstruct and kind of see what I was doing, open up all my pre-comps, see what I used to make this whole thing happen and how I modeled it after the Instagram message user interface. If you guys open up Instagram and you actually look at the UI, it looks identical, because guess what? I modeled it after what is already in existence because I want it to be as authentic as possible. So in this template, what I want you guys to do is use the template first and foremost, but what I also want you to do is make it your own, customize it, and kind of go in and see all the different little things that I was doing to make this whole thing come together. I feel like that's really important. Or don't do any of that. Just use the template and be on your merry way. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I won't be posting anything for a couple weeks. I am going on my honeymoon for the holidays. So wish me luck on my honeymoon. Have fun using that template. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also check out the last video that you missed. We do them here weekly on learn how to edit stuff unless I'm going on a honeymoon. In that case, I will see you guys in 2020. Subscribe, check out the last video that you missed, and I will see you next year.